Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to continue with our day with the third match, J-Team versus Megabank Beyond Gaming, match between our current third place and our fifth place team, trying to vie for, of course, the stakes are high, second place Beyond PSG that are now mathematically confirmed to be in sole possession of first seed. Before we get into the match any further though, a big thank you to our sponsors at CTBC Bank, China Airlines, Chunghwa Telecom, and our newest addition in Caliber. They make great products if you want to browse your Netflix or you want to watch YouTube on your TV. So check them out, please. Thank you all for making PCS possible. Now back into the matchup today. PSG has just, Beyond Gaming has actually just lost their first match of the day against Boom Esports, and J-Team are coming in pretty fresh right here to take them down a peg. Both are still in the hunt for that second place, even though that J-Team is down by 2 wins. They actually have an easier part of the schedule remaining and could still catch up.
This is a very important game for both squads. Of course, it's about how Megabank Beyond Gaming bounced back after a very disappointing game against Hong Kong Attitude. And for J-Team, it is about starting up that run to make a run for at least the 4th seed here, because there's still a difference in 4th and 5th seed. You do get side selection in that first upper bracket match. And it's just about trying to find that extra little bit of edge come postseason.
I do want to ask your opinion on this one. If you're Beyond Gaming and you came in the first match of the day with that 1-3-1 comp, which you're supposed to be familiar with, but you lose against Boom Esports, Hong Kong Attitude, would you swap out your compositions, go with a comp that's that's a little bit easier to execute, with a comp that you actually beat J-Team with last time, or are you going to stick to your guns and just say, we're going to perfect this comp before we go into postseason?
I would definitely say that they would look to draft the similar style, just because, I mean, against J-Team, do you really want to just full pivot and go straight into the team fight composition that J-Team, they want to play scaling, they want to play team fight themselves? It just doesn't necessarily make a whole lot of sense here. And especially with Liang still playing up in that top side, you're going to stick to your guns more than likely.
Okay, I just want to ask you because they did take the full-on 5v5 last time around, and it was a pretty spectacular game where we saw Doggo being able to snipe out and kill Mission before he even joined the team fight with Varus against his Lucian. That was kind of the highlight of the previous matchup here. We'll find out if they still go for something similar, but as we have talked about, Megabank Beyond Gaming has had the better side of the matchup versus Taipei J-Team, which frankly has been the more veteran squad coming in to the season. It's one of the biggest storylines that, when we first started out in January, Taipei J-Team actually made these very bold statements saying that it's us and PSG. We're number 1 and number 2. And it did not end up even remotely close to that prediction. So unfortunately, I think we are a little bit disappointed, I would say, by Taipei J-Team not living up to their potential with all their roster swaps and their raw talent and experience, and their name pedigree being basically the legacy of TPA. But we'll see if they can, take down the newcomers a peg in this one.
Yeah, and I think it really is just a bit of a statement game as well. Of course, with a more veteran squad, you expect them to step it up a notch when it comes to playoffs, to crunch time. And this is crunch time right now for them, as we are going to see this lane comparison. It is going to be that top side. And Rest, last time around, well, he had that amazing escape on that Camille, flashing into that top bush and absolutely bamboozling Beyond Gaming, but they still took the loss.
True. It was, I think it was a bittersweet play. It got the best play of the week, but at the same time, J-Team still did not find a win against Megabank Beyond Gaming. And if we're tallying up all the results, they haven't found a single win against this team the entire split. So, that's definitely not a position you want to be as the veteran squad coming into this one. Looking at the top lane matchup, this one's actually very interesting for me because they both are coming in with a lot of peculiar champions. We have the Tahm Kench, we have the Wukong on one side, and then you have the Gnar, the Kennen on the other. Actually, both of them played Kennen, and both of them lost, so probably stay away from the Kennen as you have advised us. But we are going to go into the draft phase. Mega Bank Beyond Gaming going to open this one off with the double bans against Mission. Very well deserved, as these two really are his best champions in the Syndra and the LeBlanc. On the other hand, J-Team going to go with the standard red side ban of the Thresh and the Xin Zhao.
Thresh versus Xin, definitely picks that you just take away from Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, and they're going to settle on a Renekton pick in the end. J-Team, of course, this Akshan hover, it's really just the hover. I have a not enabled
with how they clipped Akshan, because he's supposed to be dangling and his head's supposed to be upside down, but they still, turned him around. I feel like that takes away from the goofy nature of the character and his goofy kit, but we'll talk about him later. I have a lot of complaints about Akshan, but whatever. As we go into the draft, it will be the Viego being locked up here. Great performances from Kongre so far, and I feel like this is a bit of deja vu that J-Team are trying to throw Mega Bank Beyond Gaming's way.
Trying to send some PTSD, I suppose, but they follow up with the Philios pick. This is, of course, interesting given the fact that there isn't a Thresh available, but classic supports, I mean, for the most part, people are still very willing to take the Nautilus, they're willing to take the Leona with it, and they've also been willing to take the Galio with it as well in certain matchups, and it just provides that instead of peeling for the Aphelios and giving him a way out, it's more like, all right, well, I'm going to come in and clear the space around you. Mm-hmm. But we'll see if they take that support to pair up. As Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, they've locked in the Rumble, a pick we haven't seen a whole lot, but definitely very viable still, even with the nerfs to his kit. And then they pair it up with the Ashe. So looks like now that the Varus is gone, Doggo is permanently on Ashe duty.
It does seem to be the case. I will say that Beyond Gaming, it looks like they are shifting gears and changing tracks. They're going for a full Drake teamfight comp. This is not 1-3-1. They're saying, you know what? We lost against Hong Kong Attitude. I still can't believe it. I think half of my brain still isn't allowing me to say it. We lost to HKA earlier today. We're not going to go for it again. We need a change of the scenery. So they're just going to go for what I think is a great composition, but one that's rarely seen in the PCS. An actual Drake Wombo combo focused composition. I love this combo. We see it a lot in the LCK, unfortunately not enough in the PCS. I've been saying this for weeks. I finally get my dream come true. On the other hand, J-Team, it looks more like a 1-3-1 to them. This is much more standard. Stay back, don't do anything. You don't have to force anything. Just wait until you scale up. So I really like the bans that they're throwing out here. Early aggression, comps that can get you mid lane priority, just being taken off the table from J-Team's side.
Yeah, but on the flip side, for Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, they actually go ahead and ban away the Camille, which almost leads me to think that this Renekton is going into the mid lane, because I can't imagine you would go ahead ban away the Camille, even though Rest did have his moments on the Camille. But when it came to straight up team fights, he was honestly very, very underwhelming, as he just never had the team fight items. He built solo lane, and when he joined the team fight, surprise, surprise, those items don't translate well to a team fight. J-Team, they go ahead also ban away the Braum, which I think is a very important ban here, because again, Kino, he likes his disengaged supports here. So if you strip that away from him, then you're going to be given a lot of these opportunities where he kind of just YOLOs in and goes full ham straight into your team and gets picked off.
I'll be honest, I feel like the Nautilus is actually much more fitting to Beyond Gaming's composition, but because Kino had such a bad Nautilus game earlier on, they're just like, you know what, we're gonna let him have it. Let's see what happens. Interesting choice here. We actually have seen brand supports in the not brand support, brand AD carries Brad bot lanes, excuse me, in the LPL, but looks like that's just a hover, and it is going to be Nautilus. Usually Nautilus Rumble is a very old and great pairing. Never mind. As they go for the... I think Kino's much more comfortable on this pick because if you are an Alistar and you go in, you don't get a perfect engage, you can usually still walk out. Not really the case for Nautilus.
Yeah. And that's the big thing is that Nautilus has no way out after he goes in. Alistar gets the extra durability once he hits level 6. And this is all in onto that teamfight composition. Even Kino can't believe it. You see, he's just rubbing his eyes there. He's just like, wait, we're going full teamfight? Guys, I don't remember how to play this comp. But they have so much AoE control, area control, and also just AoE damage coming in from this composition with the Renekton, Rumble, and Gangplank. It's going to be pretty terrifying in the early stages of the game, and even later on, you do have the scaling power of that Gangplank, but we mentioned it, this comp will slow down more so than over on the side of J-Team, even though they do have a champion like Gnar, which I don't like at all still, but you know, rest can sometimes make it work.
I just want to tell you that Gnar is actually the 4th most picked top laner this patch, but
yeah,
you know, we can still have our very, very heavy and somewhat biased opinions that Gnar is not a great champion. I totally agree with you. I think Gnar is just, we have very rarely seen good Gnars coming out because of how often the fights are and how much time you actually need to be in perfect Narvar status and just waiting in a brush and losing minions somewhere else on the map. So it's not great. Not exactly our favorite pick. We have seen Rest just pivot towards this champion even when it was off meta. So he definitely knows what he's doing with it. Talking about the comps a little bit more, I got you. I just want to say, I got you this time. Beyond Gaming, they pivoted from what they picked earlier on. I knew this was going to happen. You know why? Because I have coaching experience, and when something fails horribly, I know it's usually not a great idea to keep your team on the same track. So I like that from Megabank Beyond Gaming. I'm glad that I get to say I told you so. Haha, nice star. Haha, take that. All right, that's the end of my rant. Please continue with the analysis and all the win conditions and everything.
I mean, it is a drastic change as far as playstyles go, right? Because this composition is all about once you hit level 6, you're just constantly pulling the trigger whenever you have those ult cooldowns up and available. And it's about forcing the 5v5. And over on the flip side for J-Team, they have very good scaling elements. And it's not that far out of the possibility of them being able to hit those scaling breakpoints because of how not necessarily unpunishing this jungle matchup is. Viego isn't going to run away with the game over a Rumble here, isn't going to destroy your side lanes as well before the Rumble gets level 6 as well. So both sides have their ways of scaling up here. Actually, I had that completely flipped up. I meant the Rumble doesn't destroy the Viego.
Yeah. Like, both sides can scale up, but, you know, I think we're definitely looking at more of an early game spin for Megabank Beyond Gaming, and on Taipei J-Team's side, there comes a point where their 5v5 is just so much better, they can walk over Megabank Beyond Gaming. They can actually just roll into them without Aphelios and outdamage the entire squad. So
yeah,
definitely it's more of a scaling component on Taipei J-Team. I like when they have to, they can play for scaling. In my eyes, J-Team is not great at engages, so they're usually better off with the scaling part. On the other side, Megabank Beyond Gaming, we have seen them actually just win versus J-Team on a very similar composition, on a Varus-focused composition that went early for the Drake. So we'll see if they can take good control of the bot side. We'll see if Kino has a bit of a rebound. Didn't have a great game 1, we have to say. And sometimes it's just not your day. We'll see if it's not your match or not your entire day as we take a look at the runes here. And, you know, anything to note there?
Not a whole lot there. Nothing too surprising. It is going to be, of course, the aftershock on the Alistar. We've for the most part, because of the phase rush changes, don't see the phase rush picked up by the champ anymore.
I
As
like that so much, man. I'm so sad it's gone.
Yeah, but it makes a lot of sense why it falls out of favor, because again, it's more reliant on levels, and the one thing you don't ever get as a support is levels for the most part. So it's a harsh reality. Also, one of the big changes for Rumble is that he doesn't ever get to start W for level 1 because of the cooldown nerfs onto him. So he's going to need a leash, and that's exactly what happens. He gets a leash, and he'll be perfectly fine afterwards.
It's kind of sad that Rumble's no longer sort of this auto-farming frenzy champion that gets ahead in camps just by doing them. We have had multiple nerfs to this champion. Still going strong, but definitely not as good as before. And taking a look at the pathings, we are going to get opposite starts right here. So a bit more pressure on the bottom side against Ashe, which we do expect that time. It's a very easy champion to gank. And then on the flip side, we are going to get Rumble heading towards the top lane and potentially getting a dive in. It's possible if you're able to. Man, I love they actually have like a sort of Trey Young emote added to the game. That's amazing.
Yeah,
Like
I'm all about
Trey
that.
Young,
Dude, I'm all about the Rest getting more ways to express himself against top laners.
Oh, it's not Trey Young. What am I talking about? Sorry, I got my NBA players messed up. My bad.
Well, continuing on.
Yeah,
Husha's
I will go get my references corrected.
Yeah. In the meantime, both of these jugglers just continue full clear. We shouldn't see too much action out of those players, to be fair. They're going to be looking to hit their level spikes before actually engaging, which means that this Scuttle Crab should be relatively tame situation, although, you know, beyond gaming, they do peek in and say hello, but in the end, it's just a ward plop down, and what do you know? Nothing's happening for the first couple minutes. So, what do you want to talk about, Clement? Have you figured out the NBA
Which
player?
NBA player it is? Man, I'm not even sure they're still playing. I'll figure it out in the break. It's gonna take a lot of clicking around, and I think chat's probably laughing at me already. I feel bad about myself. I'm ashamed. But in the meantime, we do see Doggo coming out with the call. So, kind of an interesting cheetah recall here, as he does get the wave pushed in, comes back, a little bit more combat stats, and I really like this Ashe pick, but for some reason we've seen 3 losses on it already and 0 wins. So if Doggo makes it work today, he will have broken the curse. If not, we have to pay close attention to if Ashe is just not a suitable champion for the PCS for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a couple of champions that have had weird win rates early on, like the LeBlanc, I believe, was really bad at the start of the split, and slowly gained a little bit more traction as teams were able to get a little bit more practice and figure her out. So I would expect similar things to the Ashe, as Mission could be under threat. Husha is only level 4 though. Oh,
Mission gonna fall down to the first blood. Very easy takedown right there, even with the flash, unable to get away.
yeah, so they still are able to cash in on that first blood, but it does require double flashes to be burned, and now Woody, trying to stop a back, is going to be successful in that regard. However, Mission doesn't have the teleport available. Actually, that second stop, massive from Hana, because it now allows Mission to just fast crash that wave in that mid lane, and hopefully deny a little bit for Malan.
Yeah, we are going to see a good bounce back here after the first blood going over. Going forward, though, we are getting to the point where I feel like Beyond Gaming is going to take their composition for a test drive here. They are a Drake-focused team, and because of how their abilities chain together, I feel like you can play super aggressively in this setup. If the enemy team walks into River, you just cannon barrage them and you chase up with the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. So it's very easy to punish. In the meantime, Kino is going to get into a scuffle versus Hana. I don't think Hana wants to be here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you.
Well, yeah, that was a pretty obvious call, to be honest, and it was unfortunate that Husha was in the vicinity of that play too. I will say on the bright side, this means that J-Team won't give over a massive team fight. Guys?
What's going on?
That works, I guess.
Oh. Well, they hit level 6 on the jungler, so I suppose this is where you start looking for plays, but that wasn't exactly the play I was looking to see there, as it's a bit of an overforce. We're going to see the replay.
Yeah.
Mission doing a good job at churning out damage, and Maoen just tries to get a little bit tricky here. Gets in, gets the dash, gets the stun, follows up with the gangplank ult, but didn't have the cooldown on Q fast enough, which means that Kino has to be the one to finish the job.
I feel like Liam kind of baited him into that one. It's like, bro, I already used my cannon barrage. Why aren't you going in? Unfortunately, the timing was a little bit off, and I think very detrimental to Beyond Gaming. They don't actually get the Drake stack. Like, they had an open chance for it, but yeah, it was not really worth it in terms of tempo.
Yeah, and more importantly, Maoen just further slowed down here, as he is already 10 CS behind. Of course, he has to get tier 2 boots because of the range difference in this matchup, and also Merktread's helping him a lot in actually being able to get onto a champion like Ryze. But, I mean, as far as items go, like, he's not quite there for that first Drake fight, and is very reliant on those just base stats coming in from that level 6 ult. So J-Team, if given the opportunity just a couple minutes more, they could be in a position to actually think about contesting, not full on 5v5, but perhaps getting a pick on the side.
Okay, we do have Megabank Beyond Gaming finally starting this one up. They are going to go for the Herald instead of the Drake stack.
Everyone's
in
here.
Position, though. Rust in a very good spot, although he does not have a Mega Narbar. We have a flash in from Kino on one side, trading the flash versus Woody. Fair trade on both sides. Now Rust is getting Shepherd out. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow goes wide, and so does the Moonlight Vigil. Yeah,
everyone's throwing skill shots.
A lot of air balls going both ways, but Beyond Gaming, I think, come out slightly ahead because they do get the Herald.
Oh,
someone had to win that, and
yeah,
BYG did at the very end.
Yeah, now we'll see if Kino gets caught out. He does hit level 6 at the very least, which bodes well for him being able to survive getting picked. And it will be J-Team securing the first dragon, which I think is absolutely massive, because if they're able to get that first dragon, it means they can slow the game down.
Onto the full combo coming down from Rest. Young is still going to hold on to his flash. It does dodge away from the boomerang throw, so it's going to be okay here.
Now Husha's here.
Yeah, he is spotted on a ward, and finally we do have the cannon barrage. Can he actually land the chain for the slow? Doesn't even matter, doesn't need it. And we have to jump back into the cannon barrage for a suicide. Nothing much he could have done there, but giving over the kill to Gangplank, I actually feel like is a little bit worse. Would have preferred to just die to the jungler. And we are shifting back to the bot lane as J-Team trying to get something back, but is spotted.
Yeah, it's one of those cases where you can feed either or, but don't feed your own lane, because at the very least you can just say it's their problem, not mine. But he ends up creating his own problem, unfortunately. And now that will be first tower going into the hands of Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. And even after all those shenanigans coming out, missed skill shots, weird flashes, well, it's Mega Bank Beyond Gaming that have a 2,500 gold lead. And they're going to have to find a way to really assert themselves with this gold lead around that next dragon. J-Team, they have bought themselves a lot of time with how late that dragon did go down and the fact that it did go into the hands of J-Team. It opens up their scaling options.
This is such a weird game state because I feel like both teams have simultaneously gotten what they need and also missed out on what they want. So you have Beyond Gaming with a gold lead, which is what they need, but they have not gotten any 5v5 Drake fights whatsoever. Their engages have frankly been kind of atrocious. On the meantime, J-Team, they have good leads in their solo lanes, which is exactly what a 1-3-1 composition wants. However, they are on the cusp of a rather massive deficit that could go out of hand. So I just feel like this game's kind of weird. It feels like both games are sort of ramping up and just revving themselves into a better state where they can actually get their fingers warm and start the fireworks. But for now, it's a bit of a hit and miss from both sides, I'd say.
Yeah, as you would say, there, as I believe Hysteric says, there's a lot of yakety sacks. And this game is definitely the embodiment of yakety sacks. Yakety sacks, yet somehow the results have been somewhat like expected, I would want to say.
When you have two players, like
how we got there is just like
each other.
Yeah. How we got there is just very confusing, but the result is like, whoa, yeah, I can see that. And you know what? We got here, and now it's up to J-Team to weather the storm and for Mega Bank Beyond Gaming to find a way to actually get a Drake fight. As Doggo, he is almost to that break point of cashing in that call as expected. I mean, into a Philios lane, you're not expecting the Philios to just all of a sudden jump onto you, and given that is Leona, like, as long as you have the cleanse, you should be fairly safe through the lane phase. It's just gonna be about...
Oh, we have the flashing coming in from Hana. They do catch out Usha, instantly burst him down, and in comes the reset. Hana, though, still trapped in this quarter, is going to fall down with Rest coming in, but that was a great Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Stops him mid-air, and he isn't able to lock Kino down. Mission now comes in. Doesn't want to try his chances against Maoan. That will be a 1-for-1 trade. Both junglers going down now with a bit of an HP advantage in favor of Beyond Gaming.
Yeah, Mega Bank Beyond Gaming with the HP lead. Huxia did have to invest that ultimate. So when J-Team get back onto the map, it's actually going to be them with the advantage as both of those big teamfight ults burned. We get to see the replay. They jump onto Huxia very confidently, able to secure the kill, but Maoan coming up seconds means that he's able to mop up and go 1-for-1. And I mean, beautiful arrow means that Rest isn't able to get the two-man Gnar ult that could have really changed the dynamic of that fight.
That at least should have been a 2-for-1 for J-Team. Great find there by Doggo. And the play from Kino there was also quite nice. He actually walked back and took himself out of range from the Zenith Blade from Woody, and that actually prevented him from getting the Shield of Daybreak onto not onto Kino, onto Mahan to stop the kill. So it's a lot of good micro coming out by Beyond Gaming, and they are rewarded with this one. After the push, we force the reset, still have the vision, finally get a Drake down, which is great, but I have to say that looking at their Drake timer, it's still so far away from forcing J-Team's hand.
Yep.
J-Team can completely disregard the Drakes this game.
Yep. Exactly. That dragon falls at 15 minutes, and that means if you're looking at a Dragon Soul, Inferno Soul, it would be around the 30-minute mark. So by that time, J-Team very much online. Even though they Like, this gold lead could be a little bit concerning here, but if your J team don't commit to that Rift Herald, if Beyond Gaming decide to peek their head towards this area, and if it's free, but
Rest is now going in with the Mega Gnar.
Here's the chase.
Slow down onto Kino. With a great Q, is going to stop Rest from continuing to go in. J-Team now the one starting up Herald. This could be very dangerous for them, as we have outlined their win conditions, and immediately J-Team decide to just step away from the Herald, as Mission does take a bunch of damage from Shelly.
Yeah, now there's no Mega Gnar available, so Rest is pretty much a 4v4 or a 4v5 if Mega Bank Beyond Gaming invest everyone towards this area, which means that J-Team, they just want to full reset the situation. That means Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, they're going to have a go of it themselves, and J-Team should just let this one go.
Yeah, I do like what J-Team did in response. They realized that going for a 5v5 inside of Herald Pit, where their area of effect abilities can tag multiple people, probably not the best idea, so they do a pin down, transition towards the bottom side. Now they have a chance to get a straight up kill onto Mawanan, though does have the dominance, and he's opening up onto Hana.
Hana, no flash.
Is going to go wide. Hana walks away with 200 HP though, and Kino doesn't find the last auto attack, and it would have been the kill with the Ignite going down. Now Mission being the target. But he stands his ground and gets the phase rush before walking away unscathed. Pretty well done on his part. Meantime, J-Team's still trying to crack this tower down now that Mawan is once again alone and facing an incoming 3v1. Mawan will clear the wave though and does stay alive. Very nicely done by him.
Well done by Mawan to clear out the wave instantly there, but J-Team, they still kind of get what they want, which is no one dying, as long as they're able to maintain that. But Rest,
as you say that, Rest gets dunked so hard, misses the ultimate. Mawan able to dice back
here.
And now he's facing a 1v2 with Kino right behind him. The flash is not going to take him beyond Kino. That just ends up wasting a summoner there. And Beyond Gaming has completely flipped the script. Going for the bot lane tower now. They are going to be completely unopposed. I don't think Liddy or Hana are going to come in onto this one. Hana finally does have his flash up, but he's going to commit here. He's going to set up a defensive perimeter around the second tier tower instead. But they're still going to get zoned out, and Shelly is for sure going to get her due.
Shelly will be able to get the second charge. They should be able to secure. Yeah, they should be able to secure. Well, okay, because Hana and Woody are there, they are able to slow down this take and actually save that turret. You know, Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, they get a little bit more gold. Unfortunately, unable to cash in on that tier 2, but possibly able to.
Hana does have flash. He's going in for the catch. They do find Dago. Cleanse used, but he's not going to get away. Saves the flash for later. Very well done by J-Team. Just a great vision catch right before the Drake is coming up.
Yeah, this is a really nice pick before Drake. Doggo will still be able to respawn in time for this dragon, and if Mega Bank Beyond Gaming delay the take just by 5 or 10 seconds, he will be able to get to the dragon in time. And of course, this composition still has all of its big team fight cooldowns, so I don't think that pick is going to be enough. They are going to need another one as this Drake is about to spawn.
So 13 seconds, and J-Team 2 members actually backing out here. Most importantly, Hana is the one backing out, so they won't be able to start this one, and we should see Mega Bank Beyond Gaming getting back control. I will say, for this game, it feels really interesting because most of BYG's big leads have actually came off of just picking Rest. Every time Riss has died, he has died with his teammates being very far away from him, not being able to pressure anything, and also just he died in positions where it was very easy for the enemy for them to pick up towers. Very unfortunate that they lost so much gold on that. One tower in the top lane, almost 2 towers in the bot this time around, and that's pretty much all of their gold leads. So very interesting game where we didn't really expect Beyond Gaming to get the leads that they did, but they did manage to find just some freebies that were given over to them coming in from the NAR.
Yeah, Megabank Beyond Gaming still able to generate leads off of the mistakes from Rest in particular. Rest, though, still has pretty large CS advantage and decent. I don't think he's got that much of an EXP deficit against Liang, so he's still relatively happy, but it doesn't really matter, right? Because the NAR is just such a binary champion that's easy to read that you're running into a lot of those NAR issues right now.
Yeah.
Megabank Beyond Gaming, all they have to do is look at where the NAR is and just look at where that NAR bar is. If he has Mega, we don't fight. We just wait for it to time out, and then we fight right after. And, like, what can Rest do? He can't be like, all right, I'm going to save NAR bar, because then it'll just time itself out regardless.
Yeah, and I think that your point plays into a huge part of why J-Team isn't even really trying to play these Drake fights whatsoever. They've actually given over the last 2 Drakes to Beyond Gaming, because they know if they step into a river fight, Beyond Gaming can just wait them out. Mega Narbar goes down, Enchanted Crystal Era goes in, and you lose the team fight. So it's actually just better picking up lane CS, and I think to their credit, J-Team has been playing this incredibly smart, incredibly non-confrontational, and just trying to wait until a mission will get online. And this is another point I do want to see is Mission has been honestly very unimpactful in his series against Megabank Beyond Gaming. Megabank Beyond Gaming has always been able to pick him up super easily. He usually rotates in late, he usually is much more farm-centric, and BYG knows his tendencies way too well. They have taken advantage of that in every game we've seen, especially in the last one where they were just waiting for Mission in wait in some of these corners, just dealing massive damage to him with poke. So we'll see if Mission can actually get into these team fights and give us the impact that we expect out of someone who has been in the side lane the entire time, who's up 30 CS.
Yeah, I mean, that's really the only saving grace for J-Team, is that they are going to be pretty farmed on EXP, and they aren't going to fall behind when it comes to those extra level stats. And it's just these minor edges conceded over to Megabank Beyond Gaming. But it does mean that they have to somehow start leveraging these 1v1 opportunities.
In comes Rest for the full-on trade. Does get
no
the
stun.
Megana ultimate down, but like you said, Liang able to walk away with really no damage being taken. In the meantime, we see another facet of BYG's composition, their long-range snipe capabilities. They don't get any summoners out of Little V, but that was a good warning as the Equalizer takes him down a half HP. He does have to back out to get some HP back on the Wolf Camp.
Shouldn't be too devastating here, given the fact that he does have the shield bow completed, and he also has Severum in his back pocket, so not going to be a big deal. And now things starting to come to a head, whether it's going to be this dragon in 60 seconds or the next dragon if J-Team decide to concede this in 6 minutes. So again, it's around it's going to be a relatively late Dragon Soul threat, and J-Team, they're accumulating the items necessary to really swing it in one big fight. You have Lil V about to encroach onto his Infinity Edge, and you also have Mission already on 2 items completed, and also having that extra Oblivion Orb to shut down on a little bit of the healing coming out from, well, a lot of sustain on BYG's comp.
Kino does look like he's willing to go in blind if the opportunity does present itself. Beyond Gaming coming in now with the inner track. I do think this fight for J-Team is a little bit hard to give up. Double Infernal Drake does start to hurt given that Beyond Gaming does come in with a bit of a one-shot composition, trade back comes back in fourth, and in goes Kino. We have the TP coming down, flashes from the other side as well, and now Rest. He's very close to getting that Mega Gnar bar, so he will zone away Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. But Woody, on the meantime, is also getting incredibly low. J-Team are the ones to start this one up first. Equalizer and Cannon Barrage are already down, and we do have Hana that picks up the objective.
Can they get out?
From Taipei J-Team. We do have Lil V with a lot of crescendos coming in, but he is on the wrong side of the ramp. And Doggo flashes in for the chase down kills. Woody's going to go in with the Zenith Blade. We see the Heartbreaker go in, but not enough to find the reset. Lil V will pick up the pieces here as he gets a double kill, but Mawar flashes in. He still is alive with the Severed. Finally gets burned down by Husha and the double kill. Lots of bodies flying back and forth, but at the end, it is Beyond Gaming coming out ahead with the 2 for 4, and crucially, Husha with the snipe down on Lil V.
It actually ends up being a 3 for 4 trade there, so they come out 1 kill extra. But the bigger deal is the fact that J-Team able to secure that dragon. It means that they've evened out these Inferno Dragons, and while Rest, he does have Mega.
Kill, does get 1, might get 2 with the help of the tower. Unfortunately, Husha has more damage. Equalizer just came up and burned Rest down.
We're going to see a replay of this fight here. And really, this fight was kind of gifted to J-Team here because of the look at the cooldowns that they use to get very little value. They get maybe 70% of Woody's HP, and that's it. And now all of a sudden, Rest coming in on this concave does threaten them to pull out, up towards the river, and they're able to reset, obtain that dragon. Now they're just trying to get out here, and Doggo flashes forward to make sure they're able to get this fight. And well, it actually ends up turning out for the better, but Lil V with so many chakrams able to output so much damage, it takes a flash stun to salvage this moment for Beyond Gaming, and it's just by the narrowest of margins.
Incredibly close on that one, and like Beyond Gaming got pretty lucky that there was an Infernal Soul on the map, so opening up those ramps for the opportunity to chase J-Team members down. Well, play them on the very back end of that one. I felt like without the ultimates, they had no chance. But they managed to win without getting their wombo combo off. So kudos to them. To me, it felt like they actually just caught J-Team off guard. J-Team were like, oh, the fight's over, right? We can all go home. Oh, never mind. And they were just
there's no way they keep trying to fight us.
This is a much better attempt as we have the Cannon Barrage coming down. Lil V already down to half HP. They have to take the getaway truck, and that might be a better call for Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. It's already 30 minutes in the game. Lots of damage that BYG can do, and they're just going to force the issue.
And they do have Doggo's ultimate about to come off of cooldown. So the side of J-Team, they do have to be cognizant of that cooldown. And they are also going to have to be cognizant of the fact that Mega Bank Beyond Gaming can indeed just start out this Baron. They've turned their attention over to that objective, but they aren't committing. And that, once again, keeps the timer ticking. So J-Team still offered a way back into this game as they are, while 5k gold behind, you're going to start seeing differences in what the Rise can do over what this Renekton can do.
Always a little bit surprised that Doggo didn't use his Crystal Enchanted Arrow for that play. It felt like a pretty decent opportunity, but he held on to that one. And Mega Bank, for me, I think that was a straight Baron Rush. I think if they were playing on their A game, that was definitely just going to be a straight Baron Rush.
Yeah, that's a confidence play.
Yeah, I'm very surprised they didn't go for that one. They took down so many members of HP on that play alone, and you know they still had Dominus left that could block the ramp. So just kind of curious that they're not going so hard for it. And Rest is back. I got the reference down. Back with the Nick Youngs. Sorry. Trae Young, you're not the villain. Well, sometimes in playoffs you are, but not right now. And the question mark is coming down. Even Rest is kind of surprised that they did not start Baron there. And we'll see if Doggo goes for a more aggressive try this time around. I feel like if you're playing this composition, you actually have to be using your Ash Arrow off cooldown. Like, that's the way this comp is supposed to be played. They're not going for that.
Yeah, you have to be a lot more proactive with your ult usages when they are ever trying to get through choke points. And so far, we just haven't seen that trigger willingness to come out from Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. They will be able to at least obtain this dragon, and for J-Team, they want to just YOLO onto this Baron. This could just be the game.
Not sure about this one, boys. Really not sure about this one. Yeah, J-Team is gonna lose their mid lane tower for this. That's all I've got to say.
Yeah. Decent attempt at trying to force a play, but the moment that they started it, the moment that the Gangplank ult comes down, then it's just like, well, it's off to the races. We need to find a way to regain control of the map, and they lose the tier 2 mid lane tower as a result, and now it's Beyond's turn to try and start out this Baron, and their attempt is going to be a little bit more successful, I believe, Clement.
We do have Rest with a perfect Mega Nard bar, so it's actually very dicey for Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, and we can see them actually backing out of the pit. Again, I feel like holding on to Vision is good enough. And they will wait around as Hana goes in for the Spectral Maw. Doesn't find a target here. Both sides are actually playing very timidly. I feel like Mega Bank Beyond Gaming actually are in a position where they can just straight up open up on the enemy team and win. But they're playing very timidly. I actually don't know why. Like, if you look at the gold lead, and if you look at the ultimates that are available against a Minion Arcane, you actually just straight up roll them right now. Like, Doggo, wake up. Like, this is kind of BYG in spring, you know? I feel like BYG, at the height of their game, like, early summer, probably just kills J-Team right there.
Yeah. Yeah. You can... I would say it's definitely the result of their earlier game, where they did struggle a whole lot, and, you know, this is why you go straight back to your bread and butter, Clement. Even if you lose it, you instill confidence in your squad.
All right,
like, hey,
I'll just...
we're going straight back to the guns. But because
let's
they
have
pivoted...
a truce here, okay? If BYG lose, after the game, you can tell me I told you so. But for now, because of the draft, I get to say I told you so, okay? But you'll get your shot
They
later,
picked these champs, but nothing has happened.
That's true.
That's
actually true.
Where is my action?
They did not play this composition the way it should be played. In all honesty, they're way too timid.
Yeah. J-Team, they're going to be able to get all the item breakpoints that they've been wanting to get. So it is going to essentially, even with this gold lead, become a 50-50 game because of the scaling on the side of J-Team. And yes, these ultimates are going to be difficult to navigate, but because of how much sustain you already have on Lil V, and because you have Phase Rush on Mission, you are going to be able to dance around those ultimates, and this is it.
Arrow goes completely wide. Kino does find the keep away, and they sneak the Baron just like that. They even take Woody for a ride. The Mission is able to open up on them throughout the other side of the map. Malwan stays alive. They get Woody as an escape truck, and everyone gets away with the Baron play. That is the Mega Bank Beyond Gaming that I wanted to see. It didn't happen early, but it certainly did happen late into the game.
At 35 minutes, they finally find the play. They finally farmed up enough damage to defeat Baron Nashor. As we're going to see the replay here. Arrow whiffs. Kino, though, has a great flash play to isolate Hana away from the Baron. And then Woody tries to stop the cow from taking the trip over the wall, but he ends up taking a trip over the wall with him. And that ends up being a Baron and support secured by Mega Bank Beyond Gaming. And then now they have a Baron buff to work with. And that's good news because still the timer is ticking. And J-Team, they still are getting their items. 4 items completed on both these carries. We're going to see Lil V most likely go for that Wit's End. And once that Wit's End is completed, this is a full 200 years online.
Alright, we'll see if he does get that before the team fight. For right now, though, Mega Bank Beyond Gaming have a decided lead, and they're willing to go for it, knowing that
teleport
Rest
coming
does
in.
have Meganar, a good equalizer coming down onto 2 targets. We have the Enchanted Crystal Arrow going on to Witty. First kill already there. Hushao moving
split.
in for the Rest. 2-man knockup coming in from Kino, getting some revenge here. Rest with a great disengage backwards, but it's not enough to keep the team alive. Beyond Gaming roll through J-Team's composition with their gold lead, trading only 1 for the entire team. The ace goes down, and that should be the game as BYG march on towards the base.
And they finally figured out that they can just slam them with their wallets. It took them a 10k gold lead to do so, but they finally realized that they had an advantage, and they finally hit those AoE ultimates more importantly. And that will be Mega Bank Beyond Gaming being able to right some wrongs today, go 1 for 1 on the day.
Yeah, not gonna lie, this was a very odd game. For one part, J-Team, I understand why they wanted to commit, but their committals cost them very much. Like, honestly, they should have stayed full J-Team mode and just full farm fest the entire way. They were up 100 CS at one point among their 3 carries. They didn't hold through onto that. And for the other end, Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, once they had a 6k gold lead, I really don't understand why they were playing so scared. Like, you just drop your ults and they're dead. Like, there's literally nothing J-Team can do to you. And I think it finally clicked. It finally got it through their heads. It's like, wait a minute, Rest doesn't have Mega Gnarl. We have 2 members that are isolated on the left side of the map. Dago can tank the Drake while killing Ana on his other hand very easily, and Lil V just burned his flash about 2 minutes ago. I'll be honest, that flash burn was pretty neat. Like, no one was going to chase him, and he burned his flash anyway. So, yeah, I feel like both of these teams, they were a little bit scared coming into this one. Definitely Beyond Gaming more scared than J-Team was. J-Team they were actually a little bit too relaxed on the other hand. So
J-Team, I mean, like, this kind of just essentially, even though J-Team were given all that extra room, all that scaling power, unfortunately, they had a Mega Gnar in their composition. And the Gnar never did anything in this game. He farmed up an advantage, and we saw no impactful ultimates and no impactful side lane plays either. He wasn't able to get the 1v1 kill against Gangplank, and this pick, while it is Rest's fallback trademark pick or whatnot, it's just really flopped.
Yeah, and if you think about the early game, I do honestly just pin a lot of this on Rest's play, because his early 2 mistakes actually cost a 1-3-1 team both side lane towers. If you think about that, then there's like, oh, we can't split push. So this was a really weird game where Beyond Gaming, they didn't actually play their tempo correctly. They did not get their wombo combos early, and they still won the early game because of just picking Rest into Herald. Like, they did that for a 3,000 gold advantage. Nothing else worked. They were behind in all lanes in terms of CS, and they just picked Rest for the early game. And that was like what blew my mind. I'm like, this team actually didn't do what they were supposed to, but they still won anyway. Which is, I think it goes to show that, for me, this means that Mega Bank Beyond Gaming probably still has problems switching between 2 archetypes on a single day. And that's something we have to watch in playoffs, because if you're going up against tough members, you actually have to be able to play both sides of the coin in a best of 5.
Yeah, you have to be able to swap team identities very quickly, as we are going to see the damage charts, the gold come out here. I mean, it was all about this top half of the map, right? Those big 2 ultimates, and it really reflects the damage, even though time and time again, they whiffed the combination of the two. And really, like, Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, they essentially played their composition like they would normally without actually factoring the fact that this was supposed to be a Dragon composition. It never came online as a Dragon composition, to be fair. And J-Team, well, mission he tried, but this comp also never came together as a team, as we are going to see Husha with the MVP. You know, he did damage.
True, and it's always kind of fun to see these comps win out in the late game because of the scaling on Rumble and the ability to just target out Lil V, who lost his flash kind of needlessly in that end game. So unfortunately for J-Team, I feel like they were supposed to win this game, but because they lost map control so early on and because they just lost Baron in that team fight, it came down to again a one Drake fight scenario, and that was all Kino really needed to do to take the game win. So congratulations to Mega Bank Beyond. They end the game with 1 win and 1 loss, and J-Team are still not any closer to moving into that second place position. They don't want to stay here at fifth place. Definitely not a very comfortable spot for them, but that will be all for our first half of the day. Before after we come back, we're going to have Berjai Dragons going up against Alpha Esports.